St. Kitts and Nevis Sustainable Growth Fund or real estate option, which is the best option to pick? All right, now, first of all, you need to look at how much liquid money you have, or you can come up with, because St. Kitts and Nevis banks will not finance property being bought for citizenship purposes, and they will not finance the Sustainable Growth Fund. You don't have to worry about property management with this leaseback option that I mentioned on my last video. If you missed that video and you're interested in the St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship program, you really need to take a look at that video. And if you've looked at it once, I would look at it again so you get more familiar with how this leaseback option works. In this video, I'm going to give you some guidance on how to pick the best option to get citizenship in St. Kitts and Nevis, where you won't go back and regret your decision later. Also, if you're making at least $150,000 a year or you have a net worth of at least 1 million US and you're interested in legally getting your income taxes to zero, or how to get a second passport as quick as 3 months, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button to the right of your screen here and you'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. And number 2 is I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, please put it below and I'll get back with you. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help and be glad to help you solve whatever problem you got. All right, now some property developers in St. Kitts are better than others in building and managing the property. So you need to make sure that you're dealing with someone that's dependable, that's a good builder, and offers an excellent turnkey program where you don't have to get involved in the rental process or trying to become a builder yourself, especially if you're not going to be moving to St. Kitts. The best no-hassle deal if you're going to be going with the property option to get citizenship in St. Kitts and Nevis, especially if you're not going to be moving to the Federation, is the leaseback option, like the example I gave you in the last video, which I'm going to be going a little bit over today too. The leaseback option is exercised as soon as you buy the property if you want to do this option. This again is how the leaseback option works. The seller will sign a leaseback agreement where the seller will pay the buyer the future rent money up front that will be collected over 5 years from the renter. You, the buyer, then have use of that property to invest right away somewhere else. It is then the seller's obligation to collect that money from the renter. All your maintenance fees and any damage is paid for by the seller over the 5-year leaseback period. The thing that you really need to take in consideration when buying a property overseas is, what is your time worth? You don't want to be bothered with renting your property to renters overseas. The leaseback option takes all the hassle and time of you having to rent your place out and trying to collect the rent. The only thing you have to pay for is the annual property taxes, which is incredibly low at 0.20% a year of what you actually paid for the property. Now, let me give you an example how low that property tax is. The property taxes in St. Kitts is 12 times less, 12 times less than the property taxes you would pay in New Jersey. It's incredibly low. You need to realize that you would not be able to use the apartment during the 5-year leaseback period unless you are willing to rent it from the seller since you signed the leaseback agreement. Now, the leaseback agreement basically states that since you've been paid a lump sum up front for the rent that will be collected from the renter over the next 5 years, you give up the rights to the rental income collected from the renter, and those funds are paid to the seller to pay him back for all the money you got up front. And then he's obligated to pay out of his pocket all monthly maintenance fees, any damage on the apartment, furniture repairs or replacement. Plus, he has to absorb any empty months where the apartment is not rented. Also, if there's a renter that fails to pay the rent, the seller gets the hit on this and not you, because you were paid the rental money up front. And it's now his obligation to take care of this. You're not obligated to do the leaseback, though. I mean, it's your option if you want to do this. You can rent it out yourself, or you can use it for personal use for you and your family and friends. That's your choice on what you want to do on that. Now, let's do a comparison of property or buying a property for investment purposes with a leaseback agreement in place, where you're not having to spend time dealing with renters and the Sustainable Growth Fund, which is less overall money outlay, but more that is actually spent on fees, where none of that money is actually going to come back to you. Okay, and that's the key thing that you have to look at because a property is an investment. The Sustainable Growth Fund is not an investment. Your out-of-pocket fees for the Sustainable Growth Fund for a family of 4 would be about $163,880 US, but none of this money invested, none of it's invested. So all of it's lost. It's like one big tax, okay? And as I said before, that name is a little bit misleading. It's called the Sustainable Growth Fund. Some people look at that and kind of envision being like some sort of mutual fund. It's money, it's a fee that's paying for you to get citizenship. None of that money is going to come back, okay? Now, and also you're going to have thousands of dollars on top of that $163,880 US for legal fees. Now, this developer that's offering this leaseback option is offering to pay these legal fees to get the citizenship for any buyer who buys the required or puts down a required deposit down before the end of February 2021. Now, your out-of-pocket fees with the real estate option on money that is not invested, that will not come back, is about $89,080 US, but this can drop a bunch more because you have the 5-year leaseback money that will be paid to you up front as soon as you buy the unit that pays a lot of this back to you right away. Plus your legal fees would be paid for to get the citizenship if you buy before February deadline, which would knock this $89,080 US down a bunch, a great deal. The amount of the leaseback paid to you would depend on the unit you buy, which I'll go over with you individually, depending on what you're looking for and the units you're actually picking. Now, as you can see from this example, you can get your out-of-pocket fees on money that is not invested, that will not come back to you, down greatly with the real estate option that you cannot do with the Sustainable Growth Fund option. Now, the Sustainable Growth Fund option, like I said, is one big tax you pay out one time, whereas you're avoiding money spent that it's not invested with the real estate option. Also, if you're making at least $150,000 US a year, and or you have a net worth of at least $1 million US, and you want to legally get your income taxes down to 0, or how to get a second passport as quick as 3 months, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen here, and you get new videos as they come out automatically. And number 2 is I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and hit the top part of any of the pages there. It says apply with us. Hit that, a questionnaire page comes up, just fill out the questions. Hit the bottom part of the questionnaire that says send it to us so we can get back with you and solve whatever problem you got. We deal with a lot of citizenship by investment and residency by investment countries all over the world that I think you might be interested in learning about, and I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.